Jim, how long have you been waiting for this moment to run a hockey team? I know it's in the family, and you've paid your dues as a hockey executive, but even right after your playing days, did you want to become a GM one day?
I started from the ground up. I started as a part-time scout, and then I went to a full-time scout, and then director of amateur scouting, and then director of player personnel, to assistant GM. So I learned like every step of the way. I feel like at this point I'm ready. I have a good foundation on what I think it takes to build a winning team. So I paid my dues, but I was happy every step of the way, and but I'm grateful for the opportunity today.
Jim, when John Tortorella addressed us in what proved to be his exit meeting with us, he was pretty critical of the team. He felt from day one it was stale, that it needs a change, maybe an influx of youth. I don't know how much time you've had to evaluate what you've seen here. I know you did a webcast earlier today saying you kind of like what's in place. What do you see with this roster?
Well, I like our core players. Our core players, I feel, are high-character people. And so I'm happy with that part of it. We need to get back to what we're good at, and this organization needs to play an up-tempo, fast, skating, skilled game. Before last season, this team had it was almost an attitude about them that a relentless attitude that they were going to skate and to wear teams down and to score. And for whatever reason, that didn't happen last year. But I'm hoping that, with Trevor, we hire the right coach for this group, and we can recapture that going forward.
Just a quick follow-up. There are a number of no-trade clauses on this club. Are you willing to have those conversations with players in terms of building the kind of team that you both want?
Yes, like when I talked to Trevor, we got to do what's right for the organization. So if we feel that we need to approach a player about asking him to waive his no-trade clause, we're willing to do that.
Jim, you may have just touched on this, but Trevor's mentioned a couple of times you guys shared the same vision when you met. Would you share with us what your vision is?
Okay, our vision is we want to become a four-line team. Like you watch the playoffs now, the final four teams that are playing, they have four lines that contribute. So, we want our third and fourth lines to have an important role in the team winning. So we want these guys to be an important part of the team, and we got some work to do maybe there in getting to that point, but we want to be a four-line, 6D, complete team.
Is there such a thing as a Boston method, or is it simply identifying good players, putting people in a position to succeed, which is, the template for every successful organization?
I never heard of the Boston model till I came out here, to be quite honest. So what our goal is going to be to make the playoffs every year. That's going to be our goal, because by making the playoffs, it gives us a chance to win the cup. From there, though, we want to start integrating young players into our lineup, and so that was what we did in Boston, and that's what we're going to try to do here.
We'll return to Ben, then move over to Jason and John.
A couple of questions, Jim. You worked with some really good people in Boston. Trevor referenced what's in place here from the hockey ops department. Do you feel a need to add to that? You've worked with some pretty strong people in Boston. Do you feel a need that you need to make some additions at that level?
This is my first day on the job, so I just started a couple hours ago. But like what Trevor said, is our executive team with Lauren and Stan. What we're going to do is they all have unique skill sets, and they're good at what they do. So, we're going to work with them, and, I'm looking forward to working with them.
Just a quick follow-up.
We want a coach that's firm but fair, that has good communication skills, so he can relate to the players. We want a coach that's going to play a structured style of game when we don't have the puck, but give the players the freedom to skate and create when they do have the puck. So, we've kind of started talking about, we've compiled a list of names, and we'll probably start, the interview process this next week.
Jim, when you look at the roster and the current personnel for the Canucks, what's missing here with this team?
I would like to see a little more physicality on the third and fourth lines. Like, I'm not talking about fighting, but I'm talking about, between the whistles, like getting in on the forecheck, hitting, playing with, a little bit more grit to take, some of the heat off, the first two lines. So, they're skilled guys and let them play. But, when the third and fourth line play, let's get some offensive zone time and, spend some time in the other team's end.
And when you look at the situation of the prospects, do you see prospects here that are NHL ready, could be NHL ready next year?
I really like Bo Horvath. I think, he's a player that is going to be an important guy around here for us going forward. Vancouver play in maybe the toughest division in the league. And, to win our division, to keep going, we're going to have to go through the LAs and the Anaheims and the San Joses. They're big, heavy teams. So, when we talk to our scouting staff, one of our mandates is let's try to get a little bit bigger. Let's get, a little more rugged so we can play, so we can play both styles. We can play a skilled skating style when need be, but, when it's a rugged physical game, we can play that style game too.
You have this scouting background. There hasn't been a lot of success here at the draft in the past 7-8 years. Will you make changes there, significant changes?
Listen, this is what I'm going to do. I come from a scouting background. We're going to give these guys direction. I'm going to communicate to these guys what we want, what we think a Vancouver Canuck player should be, and I'm going to work with them. I'm going to get out and see games. So, I'm going to be a part of that group. I'm going to try to make that group better, and, that's what the plan is. As far as, I know some of the guys on that staff, and they're excellent people, and they've worked hard for this organization for a long, long time. So I'm not going to sit up here today and promise any changes. I'm going to get to know the rest of the guys, and then we'll make assessments on them.
Are you ready for the spotlight and of the day-to-day of being the general manager in a Canadian market, and what has prepared you over the last 25 years of hockey management?
Well, the last 7 years I was assistant general manager in Boston, and Peter Chiarelli, taught me the administrative side of the business. You don't really know if you're ready until you actually do it, but I'm going to work hard. I've worked hard to get this opportunity, and we're going to work hard to be successful.
We'll stay here with Cam and then move across to Jeff Patterson.
Jim, I know you're quite busy over the next few days, but when do you plan to maybe sit down and talk with Ryan Kesler about his future? And further to that, what are your thoughts on him just as a player overall?
Well, he's a warrior. He comes every night. He comes to the rink and he plays hard. He's a good skater. He's a big-bodied guy. He's physical. I'll sit down with them. I think maybe Trevor's talked to him, but we'll sit down with him and I'll talk to him and get to know him and get to know his thoughts, and then we'll make decisions based on that.
Just to follow up to that, would you like to speak with him maybe before the draft, or would that come after?
Yeah, I'll try to speak to him this next week sometime.
Jim, Trevor's mentioned that he's hoping for a career coach. For you, is it important to have a coach that has previous head coaching experience in the NHL?
I don't think so, but I think we talked about we want a coach that's won at all different kinds of levels, so whether he has head coaching experience or not, I don't think that's a big factor. but we want somebody that's had success at different levels.
Jim, we obviously know that one of your strengths is identifying young talent. You had mentioned that you want to still get into junior rinks. Sometimes we see GMs kind of not pound the pavement as much when they get the GM role, but how important is it for you to still make time to see with your own eye some of the talent that's out there?
I think it's very important, and I think maybe that's why Trevor hired me, because you know, we want to make sure the draft is going to be important for us going forward, because we get to add 7 players every year to our organization. So, you know, you have to work a little bit harder, you know, because you're with the team. But, you know, between Trevor and me, we're going to share that responsibility. And, you know, maybe the team goes out on the road and Trevor's with the team, and, you know, I'll peel off and go scout some games. So, like, we're going to be about hard work. We're going to work hard to try to get this thing, you know, back in the right direction. So, you know, if that's what needs to be done, we're going to do it.
What makes you believe that you can turn things around here quickly, like you said earlier, you felt you could do?
Because like, I believe in our core players. You know, they're high character people. They, you know, like when Trevor did the exit meetings with them, you know, they felt bad about what happened this last year. You know, so we're going to try to help them out, you know, by having more depth on our roster, having, you know, playing 4 lines, and hopefully with that, and you know, we need to hire the right coach. That's going to be an important decision for us going forward. And, you know, like some of the players, you know, for whatever reason, just didn't have a good year last year. And, you know, it's a good team, though. It's a talented team, and I feel confident that that, you know, these guys are going to have a good year next year.